Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy you can be here to join me today, and also welcome to day one of our 4-day Focus On series for October. This month we're going to be focusing on the Mintay paper fall festival collection, and that's so perfect because of the change of season. We're going to make this beautiful folio here. I have it all decorated in the front, and there's a pretty ribbon closure, and then we have 4 pages of pockets that hold folded inserts. So there is lots of room here to add pictures and journaling and fill up this mini with all of your family's favorite holiday memories. So stick with me and we'll make this together. Okay, here's that Mintay paper collection that I mentioned. This is Fall Festival. It's absolutely beautiful. The patterns are very vintagey. The colors are very warm and rich. It's quite a change from the collections that we had been using for our Halloween projects. Those were more whimsical, young at heart, more bright and cheerful. This is a much more mature, country-inspired, absolutely gorgeous. I picked this collection up from the Frantic Stamper. I recommend them. They were really great customer service. My package arrived quickly and it was packaged very well, so I was pleased with that. So this might be the last day I get to show the collection in the video, because on the reverse side of this cover sheet are the beautiful little cut aparts, and so I think I'm going to be using those soon, but I just wanted to show you what the packaging looked like. We're also going to be using this pocket die. I have used this recently. This is from Matty's Crafting Joy, and it just cuts 3 slotted pockets with a notch, and then it has an additional layered die that you can cover the pockets with. We're not going to be using the smaller one today, but we are going to be using this one to create 4 pocket pages. So this I picked up from Amazon and I really absolutely love it. To start the base, I have 2 pieces of 65 pound weight cardstock. They're cut 6 inches by 11.5. I came in and scored it at 5.5 and at 6. This gives me a finished dimension of 5.5 by 6 inches. I have 2, and I have already prepared one with the adhesive on the side. So I'll just go ahead and join these together, lining up those corners. And now you can see that we have 2 portions and a very generously sized spine. Now, this 65 pound weight cardstock is definitely not sturdy enough. You do want to put an additional layer of 110 pound on, makes it much more sturdy. Also, that's going to help us cover this back portion here so it will look like one solid piece. So what I want to do is take the tape off one side and bring in this 3rd piece that makes up the cover. So like I said, this is going to be 110 pound cardstock. It is 6 inches tall, and it is the full 12 inch. I like to adhere it and score it as I'm working along so that I get my measurements perfectly. And so I'm just going to bring this already prepared section and adhere it, same as I did, just by lining up the corners, getting it nice and straight. Okay, now you see where the spine is meeting that cover. I want to line that up with one of the lines on my scoreboard, and then go ahead and make my crease there. I'll get a nice crisp fold that way. I have already added my double-sided adhesive to the spine, so I'll just take those off now. Then I'll just fold over where I put that score line, give it a good contact. I'm burnishing that down very well. So now you can fold over your pages all the way to the left and do the same process. So you just want to find a line on your scoreboard that lines up with the edge of your book there and put in another score line so you get a nice good crisp crease, and then remove the backing from your tape. and then fold that over right on that score line one more time. And now you have your base all set up. It has a nice solid spine here on the end. So I'll just go ahead and add my back cover on. Now it'll be easier than when all of those paper layers are added. So I'm just going to bring in that sweet pattern paper. And so this is one of the larger prints, and I wanted it to leave it whole because I love how all of those fall images come together. And so this is going to be the back of the book. And then I also have a piece cut for the spine, and that will just go right in the center. Okay, I just moved my scoreboard out because we are going to work on the inside now. So what I want to do is bring in my first page. And so all of the base pages are going to be the same, and the cardstock for this measures 5 7/8 by 5 3/8. The pattern paper is 5 3/4 by 5 1/4. And then here is my die cut pocket. So I went ahead and cut this out of my cardstock, and then I inked the edges so that it would have a nice finished look. I also decided to bring in another piece of the cardstock so that I could wrap the edges around the back, and none of the inserts are going to get caught sliding in and out now. So I'm just going to add this right here and then fold over my tabs. And I've already got my adhesive added to the back, so I can just flip this over now and secure it. So I'm going right in the middle, and I think this beautiful burgundy color works really well with the collection. And so here is the base page. So I can add this now to the book. Add this to the left-hand page, right in the center. I'm keeping all of my nice borders. So that's going to be our pocket page. We're going to do that 4 times. Each one of these pages will have this die cut pocket added. Okay, so I want to work on the inserts now, and I have switched back to my 65-pound weight cardstock because I'm eliminating some bulk that would be in these pockets. And so I have a piece here. It is 4 by 3, and then I have my pattern paper. It's just the B side of one of the cut aparts. Don't worry, I have a whole nother sheet, so I know that I'm going to want to use this candle and flower cut apart, so I have another one that I can use. But this is a really great way to add room for journaling. So if you want to write the memories that go with your pictures, this is a great place to do that. So the bottom one is not a folding one because, like I said, I'm eliminating a little bit of that bulk, and so that will slide right in there. That goes on the bottom pocket, and it will be underneath all of the layers. So now I have the medium size insert. This is still going to be 4 inches tall, but now I have it cut to 6 inches wide, and I scored it in the middle. So when it's folded, it will still be 4 by 3, and because of that, my cut apart will still fit perfectly. So when you are working on these, you need to keep in mind that you need 4 of each of them because, like I mentioned, each of the pages is going to have a pocket, so we can fill that up. And then I'm going to flip this over and put the coordinating pattern paper on the inside. And so this is just a good neutral that you can add your pictures to. I'm not going to finish the back, just like for the first one, so that we're not adding a lot of bulk on the inside of those pockets. And we can tuck this one in here. So now that is one of the folded inserts. This is the last insert. It is also the largest. And so it measures 4.5 by 10, and it's scored at 5. So that leaves us with a finished folded size of 4.5 by 5. And so we're going to bring in our cardstock layer. This is going to be 4 3/8 by 4 7/8. Our pattern paper is 4 1/4 by 4 3/4, and that's going to give us all of the nice borders. And I'm just going to go ahead and center that right on the front of the card. And I have prepared another one of the cut apart images. And so I have just cut my cardstock to be 3 by 4 inches. And then the cut apart was cut to 2 7/8 by 3 7/8. And I'll just add that right to the center. I really love this vintagey country look for that with the chalkboard and the rough wood. Okay, I want to finish the insides, and so I picked that really sweet pumpkin paper. This is going to be the same measurements as on the outside, but remember, we're not putting in the cardstock so that we don't get it too bulky for the pockets. So here is the piece for this side. Okay, so what I want to do is just slide this in to show you how nice that looks when they're all included in the pocket. And I'm going to take them back out just real quickly so that I can adhere the other pages as I have the book open. And so here is the pocket page for this side, and like I mentioned, they're all going to be the same. And so I'm just going to go ahead and center that and adhere it. You can work these pages a little bit while you go along to make sure that they're folding really nicely as well. Got one for this side. You can imagine now with all of these paper layers that it's getting quite sturdy and heavy, just like we like them. And then here is the pocket page for the last page. So now before it gets too bulky, I do want to work on the cover. And so as I do, I have brought down some beautiful ribbons. This came from Really Reasonable Ribbon. And this is a plaid ribbon that is a brown and cream tartan. It's absolutely beautiful. And you do want to tack this into place. And here's our image for the cover. And so we just captured that ribbon in between the cover and the base so that we can keep it nice and secure. And this is another portion, actually, it's the continuation of the picture that we have on the back. I just love it. It's so sweet and vintagey. And so I'm just going to go ahead and add that on. Now, I do want to include my favorite layering elements. And that could be a challenge with an image that's this large. So what I did was I cut out my doily from a crisp white cardstock, and I'm going to just cut that off at the edge and line it up so that I can take advantage of the border that already exists. And you can see how we're going to get that nice texture and detail, but we still keep all of that beautiful image. And so once again, I'm going to add a layer of the pattern paper with the border. These were just die cut with a nested circle die, and I cut that off same as I did with the doily, and I'll line that up right on the edge. And so it does look like the border goes all the way around still. This will be a nice decorative element on the side. Okay, so here's my arrangement, and this is created with flowers that I got from Really Reasonable Ribbon. They are all mulberry flowers, and they're absolutely beautiful. I picked a wine color because it coordinated with the flowers in the pattern paper, and I just paired it with some rosebuds, and I brightened it up a little bit with these cherry blossoms. They're in more of a peach color, but I drew that color from the candles here in the jar, so I knew it would coordinate very well. And I just paired that with some foliage that I die cut from a brown glittery cardstock, some green, and some loopy twine bows. I have this fairly straight. You normally would see that I would have quite an angle, but I want to kind of follow just this edge, because remember, we are only covering up a portion of this pattern paper. So I'll go ahead and add that now, adding that with my hot glue because it is quite a large, heavy arrangement. I really like the netting in there as well. It kind of gives it a little bit of extra texture and filler. Okay, last but not least, I do have a large wreath, and I thought it would be pretty to add it so that it looked like it was hanging from the shelf. So I'll just kind of position it here where I want it, tack that in with some hot glue, clipping the edge, and then covering that with a vintage button, and that will cover the cut ends of the string. Okay, so let's go ahead and put our inserts back in. These are the ones that we just finished, and they will go here on the side. Here is the medium one. And then here is the largest folded insert. And because we lined that with the paper and wrapped the edges around, we're not having any trouble with those inserts getting stuck. So here are the rest of the inserts I have prepared, and they are just the same as the ones on the companion page because they do show together. I want them to look nice together. And so here is the last large insert, and you can see how pretty that is. Also, I think you can appreciate that I did not cover the pockets with additional pattern paper because I knew that was going to act as a nice frame around those inserts, and so I didn't want to complicate it with little bits of pattern. Okay, last set of pages here is going to have exactly the same. I was able to use an entire sheet of those cut aparts, whether or not it was the focal image, like for this one. This is the one that really caught my eye because of that very fancy coffee drink. And so I used the ones that were my favorite, where they were going to show, and then I used the back side of the other ones where I wanted to have a place to include the journaling. And so here are the inserts for this side. And then I thought it would look nice if they kind of coordinated so the background is lighter and then it has the white pumpkins and the flowers. And so this one is going to go right in the back. Now we have our book all finished. Look how thick and nice and chunky that is. It's so heavy. And we can go ahead and tie this up. So this is all for day one of our 4-day Focus on the Mintay Fall Festival collection. Now it's time for the question of the day. Would you rather have a piece of pumpkin pie or a piece of pecan pie for your dessert? And so even though pie is not my favorite dessert choice, I am going to pick from those two choices so that I can play along fairly. Say that pecan pie is my favorite, especially if it has a scoop of vanilla ice cream like my grandma used to serve. Okay, if you enjoyed this project, don't forget to come back tomorrow for day 2. We're going to have another creation with that Mintay Fall Festival collection. Don't forget to leave your answer in the comments and leave me a big thumbs up for this tutorial. Remember, you can find links to all our social media sites in the description below. If you're not already, I would love for you to subscribe. And as always, I'm wishing you a happy and productive day, and I thank you so much for watching. Bye.